Hey, welcome back for part 7, I believe. Let's work on our AI and get it a little bit more advanced where it can track the player and attack them. So I'm going to open up my knight in the viewport. I'm going to add a component called pawn sensing. This will let it see or hear the player depending on what we set up. So on see pawn down here in the events, if you need to drag this out you can, just so you can see which one you're clicking. On see pawn, we'll click that, add a node over here, and first variable we want to create is dead, because once the enemy is killed we don't want it to do anything. So drag that out, B, left click to get a branch, hook that up, and if the enemy is not dead, then we want to set another variable called attacking player, and we will set that to true. Now with this variable we're going to go up to our roaming, patrolling, grab all this, drag this off, put another branch in between it, so B left click, hook up attacking player, off of false, drag off, hook that to that, because we're going to right here, right click, custom event called attack player. And up here we want to go ahead and drag this out and just hook that up like that. At the end of our AI move 2, we want to grab both of these events, drag it out. Actually, we can just delete that one, hook a branch into both of these, find out if our enemy is dead, and if not, go back to patrolling, because it'll do the other check right here, so we don't need to include it on this end. But down here, for attack player for our custom event, we'll go ahead and set that like that. For attack player, we want to right click AI move to that one, hook that up. For the pawn, we want it to be the self, because that'll reference the knight. For target actor, for a one-player game this will work. It'll be get player character. Leave the player index to 0 because that gets the first player, or one player. The acceptance radius, is how close it'll get to the player before it starts doing its attack stuff. So we'll drag this off, promote it to a variable called player vicinity, and I'm gonna default that one usually about 125 to 150 looks good. I might go for 125 first. And we'll test that real quick just to see how close they get. In the viewport, if you click the pawn sensing, you'll be able to see all this fancy stuff. The green one is the one we're going to worry about, which is his vision. So we want his peripheral vision angle to be a little bit lower, just to make it a little bit more realistic, to where he's not like seeing everything down the side of him. 70 looks decent. Sight radius is how far out he'll see. I'm going to set that to 1500 for now. We might set that a little bit more later on, but that'll work for now. On see pawn, attack player, and let's just take a look real quick. So now he's gonna follow me. He ain't gonna move very fast, but we'll fix that. So yeah, he's following. See how close he gets. Yeah, about 125 looks good. Alright. Back in his event graph in the night. Once they see the player and are moving into attack, we want to drag off the character movement. Set walk speed to about 400 is decent. Move that up just a little bit. And on fail, we want to go ahead and call our attack player again. But on success, we want to add a branch with the B left click, hook that to on success, add a variable called has attacked. We're adding this because we don't want them to be able to just fire through the attacking phase every single time, or because it'll mess with it, or they'll be able to attack way too quick if we do it that way, or without this. So we'll hook that up to that, and if that is false, like they have not attacked, then we will do a switch on int. Drag that out a little bit. We'll set the has attacked to true in between there, because I forgot to do that. Drag that out a little bit off the selection, drag off promote to variable. And actually no, that one's not a promote to variable, that is random integer in range, because we want to be able to define that it's 0 or 1 only. We'll add 2 pins, right click where it says default, remove execution pin, and we will add 2 variables called attack1 and attack2. Off of 0, we will set attack1 to true, and off of 1, we will set attack2 to true. Then we will add 2 delays for each one. So delay, which we will figure out in just a second how long those need to be. We will just box select, Control C, Control V, hook those to the other side, set them to false. Then we will do a delay that these can both hook into. For the duration, we'll drag off and call this recovery rate. That way we know how long the enemy will have to wait before it recovers between its attacks in order to set has attacked to false and do it all over again. So let's take a look at his animation blueprint. Let's clean that up a little bit first, that's bugging me. Drag that. Remember, you can box select and hit Q and it'll straighten those lines up. So drag that to about there. Just kind of tidy it up because OCD. And for net, that would be just good like that. Alright, I ain't gonna worry about it right now. I'll do that some other times. But now let's go into his event graph, which is in his enemy folder, night, and in BP. And in the event graph, off of the sequence, we'll add a pin, box select, Control C, Control V, paste that out twice, hook both those up right off the get-go, drag them down a little bit. You can control click, like hold control on the keyboard, left click one of them, and it'll make it to where you select or deselect. Ah, crap. if you double click, it'll say reading C++ symbols, and if you have what was that thing? It didn't do it. So if you have a coding software, it might open it. It does that to me sometimes. It didn't this time, so we're good. But get attack 1, get attack 2, and promote those off to a variable called attacking 1. Oh crap. Promote to variable attacking 2, because he's got 2 attack animations, so that way a little variance. I like just a little bit of, no, he's not doing the same thing every single time. Off of this init state, we'll come back out here, drag off, add state called attacking 1, one more called attacking 2, drag this back down so that it hooks to it and back on both sides, and on the going to rule we'll set attack 1 and attack 2, and for going back, what was that? Was that 2? That's 2. Get attack 2, drag off, hit an equal sign, leave that box unchecked, and set that up. Control C and Control V to put that right there. Get attack 1, hook it to the top. I don't think it really matters, I just always hook it to the top personally. Make sure both of those are good. Alright, now in the attacking 1 animation, in your asset browser, find /2. It doesn't really matter which one is which. You can do it whichever one you like. With that selected, make sure loop animation is off. And for attack 2, grab the other /, which in the folder is /3. Compile. Also make sure that's not looping. We'll double click this animation to open it up. Take a look at it. It's pretty good. So we'll pause it and take it to about here. Works for me. And I'm going to add a notify called attacking. And this was attack 2, right? Attack 2 1.667. So while we have that, let's go back into here, and on attack 2 set that to 1.667 so that we know that that's appropriate. In here we'll go back to the state machine graph, go into attack 1 and do the same thing. Save, pause it, and about there looks good. About there. We'll add that same notify. We don't have to do multiple line traces off this one, we'll just do one and include a variable to change his attack strength based on which one he's doing. So, alright. Oh, how long was that one? 1.5. Alright, so back here, 1.5. Over here, just before the switch on int, let's select all of that, back it up just a tiny bit. Not you. Grab the character movement out, set walk speed to 0. And after his attack, we'll drag this side off, grab out another character movement, and set walk speed back to 400. Oh, if you have wires already hooked up and you want to drag them around to something else, you can hold Control, click where they're hooked, and then just drag them all at once so that you don't have to rerun them every time. That'll work like that for now. Okay. So let's take a look, see what he's going to do when he sees us. Run, boy. See if you can get. Oh, he's floating around. Why are you floating? Let's find out. Oh, okay. Instead of doing that here, let us do that as part of the sea pawn. That way it doesn't change it every time it calls that. So now let's try it out. Oh, and you're still running. Why are you still running, boy? Let's see. Set has attacked. On success. Has attacked is false. Set walk speed 0. Refresh. Let's just try that. Oh, okay, wait. Drag this off a little bit. And then set a do once node in between. Every time he was seeing the player, it was bumping his speed back up, so now it should only do this once. Now let's give it a shot. Yeah, there we go. You can't get me, can you? Oh, no, you can't. Oh, I'm too quick. Muhammad Ali up in here. Alright. Now, in the night, yeah, let's go ahead and set one more custom event. We'll set up the damage dealing real quick. Don't want this to go on too long, but we'll do that one real quick. Let's see. Attack, trace. So drag off, do a sphere trace by channel. In the viewport, we'll add another component called a scene component, which I will name attack from. In the event graph, we will drag that out, get world location, and get forward vector. We will drag that back. We're going to add, so add a plus sign, vector plus vector. Drag this one off, do a time, which you can get that star by shift 8 on the keyboard, into a vector times float. And we'll put that into that, and put that, I'll put that into the end, that's right. And then off of the world location, we'll drag that off and add it to the start. For this, we'll drag off, promote that to a variable called attack range. And for the radius, just a good 20 would be alright. So draw debug type for duration. Up here in the attacking player, let's box select all that, drag that out a little bit, and we're going to create. I apparently already have one. Alright, I'm going to use this one because I don't. Oh, that's the one I added earlier that I didn't need. Alright, I'm going to use that one and call it attack mode. That way, instead of having to run off 2 different traces based off the animations, we will just set attack mode to 0 on the top one and set attack mode to 1 on the bottom one. Then down here on our attack trace event, we will break our hit result. Hold B left click to get a branch, bring that out. If it's a blocking hit, then we will find out if the hit actor get class, if that was equal to our player BP. You know, the one that's associated with the character that your player is. Another branch, B left click. If it is a blocking hit, and it is the player, then we will do switch on int, and we will drag out our attack mode, add 2 pins, right click the default, remove execution pin. We will right click, type apply damage, boom. The damaged actor will be the hit actor, back off the break hit result. The base damage will be promote to variable, attack, damage 1 for the first one. We'll copy that, paste that, just the applied damage, not the variable. We'll hook that up to 1, and double clicking on this wire will let you add a reroute node. Sometimes reroute nodes act weird on mine. It'll make the lines go off, but we'll hook that to the damaged actor again. And for base damage, promote that to a variable called attack damage. That's not damage. Damage 2. That way you can have different attack strings for different attacks. For the first one, I'm going to set it to 5, and for the second one, I'm going to set it to 7. Why not? Okay, that should be everything needed for the attack trace to work. Now we need to call this attack player function, or this attack trace function, from our knight and BP in the event graph. So down below, now let's go above it. I'm going to go above it and pull out the enemy ref, drag off and get attack trace, and I'm going to right click and get the attacking animation notify that we did earlier and hook that up just like that. And instead of having to do multiple of these for each attack, you can just set a different variable for the different strength you want based on the attack that he pulls. And that should be everything needed to get him set up attacking. So now help chase the character. I guess it helps if in our knight BP for the attack range we actually give him some range. So he gets 125 away from the player. We want him to be able to hit. So how about 175? Give him a 50-foot radius from where he stops. No, 50 meter, whatever. Yeah, he's hitting the player. We'll set up for him to be able to actually rotate and face the character when he's attacking next time. That way if you're right here in combat with him, he'll face you when he swings at you. But for now, that looks good, and I don't want this to drag on too long. So there you go. Now he's trying to kill you. Next time, we'll kill him back. So, alright, see you in the next one.